Hello everybody, I'm Agna Langle, and once again we're playing Grade 8 Sturdy Chronicles. I'm gonna try my best to make this the last episode of this case. I'm gonna try to power through it. I think that we can, especially because there's just no good stopping spot for this one until the end. So, this is gonna be a long one, as you can probably already see, and if it's not, then I guess this is just getting cut out. Somehow, the door to the cabin we were in ended up bolted after we made an emergency stop. That's right. I literally played this yesterday. I don't know why I'm forgetting. Okay, Susada-san took a deep breath and gently slid back the bolts. And we were bombarded. Hey, why isn't she in the skies? Okay, here we go. You! What are you doing in Miss Pavlova's quarters? Isn't it obvious? Aw, Hosanaga. You don't, though. Did the ship beat you up, or did the captain? I forget. Oh, you both look unhurt. Good. Yes, we're fine, thank you. What on earth happened? We heard something about how we were going to collide with another ship. Yes, it appears to have been a false report, though. Oh, how did that happen? There's a dense fog outside, so it's extremely difficult to see. Someone must have thought he saw a ship ahead. Or she. This person obviously triggered the alarm, and that's why we made an emergency stop. Everything is chaos! Passengers are screaming! Crew are running everywhere! Oh god. This first-class area is the only quiet part of the ship at the moment. Yeah, there's only 2 cabins in the first-class area. Oh, I see. Someone triggered the alarm? Does that mean that someone pressed that button outside? See, I don't think so, because, like, they knew why it was pressed. That's what gets me. It feels like it's a member of the crew who, like, said, hey, there's something ahead, stop the boat. I don't know, that's just me, though.
Ah! You wicked intruder! Dressed in all black, you are the devil!
I already forget her voice. It's been, I didn't get to do it yesterday, so. Sorry? Me? I've been called a lot of things before, but devil is a first.
You opened my traveling case, how could you?
What? No, we didn't touch it.
That's right, Miss Pavlova. It was already open when we came into your cabin. Inspector!
Oh. Yes. Also, I'm a big fan of yours.
Arrest this man. I know he did it.
Please don't worry about the fact that I am a stowaway. Unimportant.
He is a criminal. Is it not enough that he has killed a man?
Oh my gosh. Okay, Pavlova. Da! And he is stowaway as well. If Vixen promises not to steal chicken, do you believe? He has a good point.
Take him away. He is a trespasser as well as everything else.
Gosh, I forget her voice. Stowaway away. Stowing away. Stowaway away. Stowing away. Trespassing. Killing. She is right. You are devil. Doesn't look good, does it? There's a cell below deck. Throw him in. There's a cell? That's awesome. Tomorrow we dock in Hong Kong. What? I thought it was like in an hour or something. Then we give you straight to police. Wait, a cell? I mean, he really hasn't done anything to, like, endanger anybody. I feel like if they just put somebody outside of his, like, of Kazuma's cabin to guard him, he would be fine. He wouldn't do anything.
Please, Inspector Hosanaga, is there nothing you can do?
This is a Russian vessel. I really have no jurisdiction here. So it's crazy that I'm actually working undercover considering I have no jurisdiction here. After my last effort to appeal to the captain's good nature, I think I'm out of options.
This is terrible.
It's a real crisis. I've got to find a solution. Immediately. Right now. I don't know why, but using the word immediately is just so funny, especially for menial things. It's just really good. I enjoy it. I wonder if there's anybody over here. over here. Look at him. What is he doing? What the hell is he doing? What the? What are you doing up there? Mr. Sholmes? Aw, look at him. He's so pretty. Oh no. Naturally, I was analyzing what a weight of 20,000 rubles feels like on one's head. Of course. Have I not told you that as a detective it is my business to know what other people do not? This isn't mere tomfoolery, my boy. Oh, no, no, no. Well, why were you hanging from that hook before then? Isn't it obvious? To properly assess the weight of 20,000 rubles, naturally. I wish to determine if it would bend that conceited-looking hook on the wall, so full of brag and bounce. Is he punching the hook? Okay. I never know whether to take this man seriously or not. Hey, Ryunosuke, 90% of the time, don't. There are a couple of times, you will see. Most of the time, it is tomfoolery. Ah, you again, the great detective. Ah, Inspector, I confess I've been looking for you. I have something to report to you most urgently. I still have the crown on my head. And also I've stretched it extremely to fit it over my hat. So it's actually extremely damaged. I mean, really, I owe 20,000 rubles now to the the Novovich Ballet Company. Well, you might try looking for me somewhere other than the hook on the wall next time. Thank you, Hosonaga. What is to report? Speak! An urgent report from a great detective can mean but one thing. Yes. The case of the curious murder that took place last night here on this vessel, the steamship Boya, has been solved by me, naturally. Oh, why is she nervous? What? Really? Yes, I have eliminated all other possibilities. No other explanations exist. Goodness, I get tripped over his words a lot because he speaks so quick. So, allow me to illuminate all your minds. For I am about to reveal my great detective's greatly admired great deduction to the case. Oh, I love it when I get those on the first try. They make me very happy. We all knew who was responsible for killing student boys this morning when we found criminal in wardrobe. I like how criminal spelled with a K. It is this stowaway, and he has handcuffs to prove it. I didn't do it. Hey, if it's bad that I'm a stowaway, what about her? She has committed the same amount of crime that I have that's been proven so far. Trouble is, there doesn't appear to be anyone else who could have killed the victim. Because, as everyone knows, the cabin door was bolted shut from the inside. Well, we just figured out how to solve that, bucko. That means the culprit must be someone who was inside the cabin.
Yes, it's what's called a locked room mystery in detective stories.
Da! Locked room! That is point!
No, it's a boat, not a point. The room was locked.
Well, I can't deny that. There's no way the boat could have been drawn across from outside the cabin. Or is there? You were all quite mistaken. The cabin next door is not a so-called locked room at all.
What?
Well, it is now. Actually, we can't reopen it because there's no way to unlock it from the outside, even with the crew. So we're stuck. Oh yes, there is another entrance. An entrance used last night by the culprit in order to gain access to the cabin despite the bolted door. I don't know if I follow you, Sholmes. What other entrance? We never discovered one. Why, it gapes open-mouthed at you even as we speak. The vent? The ventilator, man! The ventilator? You think this is funny? Oh, new animation, let's go. I cannot even put my arm through that hole. Well, that's because you're massive. That's because your arms are as thick as tree trunks. You're suggesting that the culprit entered and left the victim's cabin through that tiny opening? It's not possible. Ah, but it is. And last night, the victim even witnessed the intruder in the act of passing through the ventilator. Oh, okay.
Mr. Sholmes, do you mean... Are you referring to the words Kazuma-sama wrote in his diary? 1:23 a.m. I can hear a faint whistling sound.
Yes, we've memorized this by now.
1:35 a.m. It looks like some sort of speckled band is dangling from the ventilator grill.
Oh, the bow. Precisely, my dear madam.
But what does it mean? What is this speckled band?
The answer to that particular conundrum is in this very cabin. Ooh. He's gonna... Mr. Sholmes, are you gonna throw fists with the snake? Of course! I am a legendary boxer. If anyone can beat it, I can. No, Sholmes, he gets bit. He starts crying. He's on the floor. Ow! I went to my mommy. Oh, I'm so evil to Sholmes. I'm evil. There's a distinct element of danger, but fear not. I am ready. What I really said, like, he's really gonna fight it. What I'm about to expose for you all to see will shock you to your cores. He really just said the truth will shock you. That's awesome. Behold! Ah! Ah! What the? I don't know who's talking. Oh, Stroganoff's gonna die. Why is he so calm? Is he scared? Why are you standing so close to it? Allow me to introduce you all to the band, the Speckled Band. A snake? Indubitably. They are stunned. Oh, I love it. Mr. Sholmes, just one thing. Pray, what troubles you? Well, that snake isn't really speckled, is it? It looks more stripy, wouldn't you say?
Yes, you're right. I think in this case you'd have to call it the striped band, wouldn't you?
You both see and observe with distinction, however. Do you not think that it is precisely the trap into which the culprit wishes you to fall? The snake?
Oh my goodness, really? It's a trap?
How exactly? Oh, get ready. Buckle up, Bruno. I think perhaps it is time I explain the intricacies of my train of thought. Please do, Sholmes. Are you ready, Miss Pavlova?
I'm sorry for the young man who died, but that is all. His death is nothing to do with me. The whole thing is nothing to do with me.
I hope that's how you say the THs. I swear, somebody pronounced it like that. I was watching some YouTubers. I swear. I hope. Okay, there are two conclusions I have drawn from the facts. Number one. Last night, your friend infiltrated the victim's cabin. And number two. That same friend was responsible for the victim losing his life.
No.
Yes. She's turned as white as a bowl of rice again. Really? Really? That's what you're going with, writers? Alright. Sholmes must be right. He's hit the nail on the head. This young woman's friend killed Mr. Asogi. Looks like he can't speak with that snake coiled around his head. He can't breathe either, actually. He only has a little while left. I would advise as little movement as possible, Seaman. You wouldn't want the fangs of that long friend in your neck. He's so casual. So, everyone, let us begin. Sholmes is proud to present his logic and reasoning spectacular. I love the transition. It's so nice.
Miss Pavlova, moments ago you claimed the following. His death is nothing to do with me. This whole thing is nothing to do with me. Do you like my accent? I might be mocking you, yet you deceive yourself. Yes, when you recall those horrid events, your aching heart smarts with pain.
Alright, there's a question.
And it is that very pain that evidences your inextricable link to the victim's death. So, we ask, what was the nature of this intruder that stole into the victim's cabin on that portentous night? Why, naturally, it was the friend with which you boarded this vessel, was it not?
Okay, that's right.
Ah, as I suspected, another telltale glance. You really don't know how to control your body language, and actually no one does. Without a doubt, your friend is the writhing serpent we see before us.
Alright, that's wrong, apparently. And yet, oh my gosh, he really is huge.
And yet, that fact leaves us in a quandary.
Wait, it doesn't have teeth. Oh no, imagine it's like gummy little mouth just like, just clawing at you. Ugh, I don't like it. I don't like it. Oh, I love that he's standing so, it almost got his hand. He's so calm. Or he's just not paying attention.
Whereas, regrettably, this specimen's markings do not fit that description in any way. What explanation can we then give, pray? What was the sight that fell upon the victim's eyes last night?
No, don't look at me. This has nothing to do with any of this.
Oh, but it does. You have the answer to this quandary even now, hidden behind your back. And you took it out of your pocket for some reason. Yes, that which you are trying but failing to conceal can only be the snake-slaved skin.
I really want to know why she took it out of her pocket. It was concealed this whole time. Why did she take it out of her pocket?
Evidently, after the sudden and horrible crime, this most deadly friend of yours shed its original skin. No?
I don't know what you are talking about.
Last night, through the ventilator visible in this cabin. Okay, last night, through the ventilator visible in this cabin, your then spectacled friend, spectacled.
Yeah, the snake's wearing glasses. Aw, how cute.
Your then speckled friend slithered next door. Using the bell cord on the other side as a bridge, the servant silently descended into the victim's quarters. In the dim light, it appeared to the young gentleman who was about to lose his life as a speckled band.
Sholmes, he doesn't understand the weight of, like, anything that he says.
In summary, the nature of this friend of yours, which last night infiltrated the scene of the crime, is a rare breed of snake whose markings change each time it sloughs its skin. A snake so dreadful, we can only imagine it would be found in the deepest depths of India.
Okay. I don't know where that came from. Spectacled snake. They barely had enough room for that one.
Moving on, we come to the heart of the matter. The grim demise of the victim.
Oh, I don't want to look at him. It's so sad.
How did this young man lose his life? And why?
Oh, he's making this, what, 15-year-old? 14? He's making her 15. He's making this 15-year-old look at the picture of the dead person. Gosh, Sholmes, that's not appropriate.
According to the data of which I have been apprised, it would appear there are no visible signs of injury.
Which makes it being a snake a little bit confusing, wouldn't you say?
In fact, the circumstances of the victim's death can only be explained by a terrible venom.
Sholmes, I'm not following.
Now, if we take that as fact, we shouldn't.
Oh, I love his twirling. We can reasonably imagine that there remains evidence to affirm it at the scene of the crime. What? How?
Oh no, could there be?
Oh, okay. Well, obviously, then she's up to something. Yes, an examination of the deceased body will prove the cause of death conclusively. Buddy, I hate to be the one to tell you, but, we already have that. It was unless the snake broke his neck, I don't think that the snake did it. The almost, but not quite, imperceptible puncture wounds. Alright. The almost, but not quite, imperceptible puncture wounds left by the venomous fangs will seal the truth. Like, they examined the body, though. They would have had to, like, bite in his hair for them to not be able to see it, I guess? Yes, the vestiges of the snake bite delivered by your terrifying friend.
This makes no sense.
You're right, it doesn't. There is no point feigning ignorance, Miss Pavlova. After the incident, you endeavored to hide everything, didn't you? Oh. But now your involuntary glance betrays the hiding place you chose. I still don't get why they do that. Why? If you know you're gonna look as far away from the thing as you can, right? Like, you know that this guy is glaring at you and watching for you to do something. But it must be a panic situation, right? It's like an ambush. He sets up spotlights, he dances around you while just saying things. Like, it has to be nerve-wracking. That's the only reason it works, it's because of the spotlights. That's right. You hid the evidence that links you to the victim's death in that traveling case. The empty traveling case. When we first met in this cabin, it came to my attention that your case moved periodically. And it went That was not a good hissing sound, but you know what I mean. It went hiss. There, that's better. Your serpent assassin. Okay, I almost read your serpent assistant. I'm not good at reading today. Your serpent assassin was restless inside, no doubt. He was thirsty for blood. With his teeth that he has.
You don't...
Oh, I do. It is telling that the victim made note of a low whistling sound that he heard minutes before his end. That was your signal, was it not? The sound you had used to train your serpent friend.
To train? This is a boat, not a train.
Oh, there was a whistle. I didn't know that was there. I was too busy being mad at myself for making that dumbass joke. Okay, indeed, you'd put the serpent through this ventilator and wait. After a period, you'd summon it back with a whistle. You couldn't know if the animal had done its duty, so you would listen for signs of life next door. Even though the person could have very well been asleep, considering it was 1 a.m. or whatever, 2 a.m. And also, why did you want to kill him anyway? There's a lot of questions. If the victim appeared not to have been dispatched, you'd release the snake once more. Do you deny the snake has undergone such training?
It's not true.
Having slithered through the ventilator and down the bell cord, the creature needed only to sink its fangs in once. Which it didn't because it doesn't have any. And its venom would course through the victim's veins, ending his existence forever. Susato starts crying. Susato and Ryunosuke. That is the true nature of the speckled band that took the poor young man's life. Yeah, and then they pan over, and Runo and Susato are just crying. And he's just smiling, he's smirking. He doesn't realize that, that he's just so insensitive. There can be no doubt. My logic is infallible. If you say so. Death by a venomous snake's bite, which the multiple problems with that. Oh, I love the hat so much. Thus concludes Sherlock Sholmes' great deduction of the speckled band. I love how shocked they are. Miss Pavlova has trained her pet snakes a killing machine. There on the floor, you will observe a saucer of milk. The promise of food is the key to training any creature. Oh yes, milk, my favorite food. Incredible! You've solved the mystery! Ryunosuke, you can't be that stupid.
amazing. Your great deduction really lives up to its name.
Both of you are idiots!
I see now why Herlock Sholmes has become such a household name in Japan.
My dear man, it was nothing remarkable, as the Russians say. I could have done it with one left hand. I'm left-handed, by the way.
Could I venture an opinion, Mr. Sholmes?
But of course. What's on your mind?
It's just about your deductions before. Some things don't quite make sense to me.
You get him. I welcome questions as to my method, and I will answer both loudly and proudly.
Oh, well, good. First of all,
Hold on, let me get my book about everything and look at the snake section.
snakes are egg-laying creatures, part of the reptile family.
You are well informed, madam.
And reptiles, don't drink milk.
Ah.
It's really only mammals that like to drink milk, you see. So, I'm not sure it would be possible to train a snake using milk as a reward.
No matter. No doubt Miss Pavlova used some other treat to encourage her pet to do her bidding. Don't know why there's a plate of milk in the floor, though. Milk was merely an example. The logic holds.
But there is something else. Snakes have no ears.
Ah.
Yes, so I'm not sure it would really be possible to signal a snake by whistling.
But madam, what of the tales from Arabia? Have you not heard of the snakes that dance to the sounds of a flute?
I think perhaps the performers play their music in time with the snake's natural movements.
Oh, I see. No hands, no feet, no ears! These creatures are so inept as to be practically useless! I love how upset he is. Don't take it out on the snakes, Mr. Sholmes. He's got the snake by the throat. I say throat, you know what I mean.
There is one other thing.
You have more?!
Snakes use the scales on their bellies to propel themselves. So, I'm not really sure that a snake could manage to climb up a flat bell cord like the ones in these cabins.
Then it should try harder! Oh, I love him! I love him!
Please, don't be angry with me, Mr. Sholmes.
Please don't be angry with me, Mr. Sholmes. The point is... Oh, she lost Kazuma and her childhood hero is angry at her. Oh, this is the worst day ever for poor Susato. All because she has the Book of Infinite Knowledge.
Even if the snake had gone through the ventilator to the next door cabin, it couldn't have come back without help. What I'm trying to say is that there are a number of reasons why it's difficult to imagine that a snake could have had a part in this.
You tell him. Oh no! Oh, Sholmes. Poor guy. Look what you did. You made him depressed. Oh no, she's sad too.
I think we need to step in and help again, Mr. Naruto.
Oh no, you don't mean...
Yes, we need to modify Mr. Sholmes' latest deductions and turn them into the great ones they ought to be.
No, Susato, I think you should do this, because Ryunosuke took all of that hogwash just as fact. So I think you're the one that needs to do the dance of deduction this time. Had a feeling that was coming. I'm not excited or anything. Alright, let's give it a try. Just what I was waiting for, Mr. Naruto. And he's back. He bounces back quick. Yes, right. So, cast your eyes down to your wrists again. What? They're gone. How did he do it?
You've done it again! Your handcuffs are gone.
Where did they go?
Fear not. I shall see they're restored after our work is done. I really wish you'd leave them off. Now everyone, let us begin. Herlock Sholmes is proud to present his Logic and Reasoning Spectacular again. Yeah, course correction. Hold it, Mr. Sholmes.
Yes, when you recall those horrid events, your aching heart smarts with pain.
She does have a pained expression on her face. I was almost Susato there for a second. She does have a pained expression on her face.
Oh, wrong button.
Yes, that's true. She looks as though Kazuma-sama's death is weighing heavily on her mind.
But you're not sure Mr. Sholmes has read her quite correctly, is that it?
Could there be some other way to interpret her expression then? Let's take a moment and really look very closely at Miss Pavlova.
I am saving for no reason in particular. Absolutely no reason in particular. It's definitely not so we can try joking. Oh. I think it's her left ear. Yes!
Despite being in the neighboring cabin, you failed to notice what was happening to Mr. Asogi next door. And for that, you can't forgive yourself, can you? Feeling I understand all too well.
I'm amazed that he didn't go the route of, you had an earache. You have an ear infection, and so you're in pain because of your ear infection.
The guilt is bad enough, but Mr. Sholmes' accusatory words add salt to the wound and hurt your ears.
Okay, fine.
Yes, when you recall those horrid events, that claw scratch smarts with pain.
I'm trying to make it sound like Ryunosuke is like copying Sholmes' voice, but it's really hard.
Indeed, simple observation reveals that the wound is fresh. Because it's red. It looks like marker, actually. I almost went to Sholmes. Miss Pavlova, did you in fact receive that scratch sometime last night?
Ah! When I think about the young man who died next door, I feel so sad. And when I am sad, the pain from this wound is worse.
Gotcha! And it is that very pain that evidences your inextricable link to the victim's death. Without doubt, your friend is the writhing serpent we see before us. It seems likely that the scratch mark on the back of Miss Pavlova's hand was made by this friend of hers, doesn't it? Except, snakes don't have claws, do they? Do you really need to ask?
No, they don't. They don't even have hands or feet in which
claws might grow. Goodness. Well then, if that snake isn't her pet, what is? What's the true identity of this friend of hers?
We should follow her gaze, Naruto-san. That's where we'll find the answer.
This episode's already gonna run long, but we're just gonna be a little bit silly. Okay, so it's not the... It's Seaman Stroganoff. Actually, I want to see what they have to say about him in general.
There's no doubt, is there? She looked in this direction. Straight at Seaman Stroganoff.
But they do seem to be friends of sorts. But I can't imagine how he could possibly fit through that ventilator.
Don't forget that I managed to fit inside Kazuma's trunk when we first boarded this ship.
I would ask what that proves, but I think an equivocal little smile would be more effective.
Damn. Alright. It was Stroganoff.
It wasn't? Forget about how you could have brought him aboard in your case, or how he could fit through the ventilator. A true friend always finds a way to scratch the shit out of your hand. And what more dependable friend could you ask for than Seaman Beef Stroganoff? That deduction was wanting in every way. Yes, I was wanting you to hear it. I'm quite proud of it. Oh my god, the pun! Oh, that's gold. I find myself wanting never to have heard it. I'm quite pained by it, in fact. Oh, sorry. I'll try again.
Okay, well, clearly it's this. Now, I'm not gonna do it, but if you don't click into the picture, he says that it's the picture frame that she's friends with. And it's kind of funny, but not funny enough. in my opinion.
Ah, look at the photograph in this frame. This must be something Miss Pavlova brought with her when she ran away. She's exceptionally beautiful, isn't she?
You have a little crush, Susato?
Yes, that's true, but personally...
Okay. Whew. I was like, Rinosuke, she's 15. Calm down there, bucko. Okay. It's the little black creature she's holding that's caught my eye.
And what is that around its neck? Maybe we'd better take a closer look at this. Fine. Look at the little cat Miss Pavlova's cuddling here. Oh, what a cute little kitten. It could vie with you, couldn't it, Naruhodo-san, for the blackest outfit? A black kitten. And from the look of this picture, at least, Miss Pavlova seems very attached to it.
Yes!
Without doubt, your friend is the little kitten we see before us.
Yes, the scratch on the back of your hand makes that abundantly clear, of course. I knew that.
Oh no.
Oh, I love it. The whereabouts of this black kitten isn't clear, but what is clear is that you brought the animal with you when you ran away, didn't you?
Ah! That guy's my best friend. I couldn't leave her behind.
Darga would appear to be a Russian blue. Of course she would. And yet, that fact leaves us in a quandary. The victim's written up. I can't get over this shot. It's so good. How is Stroganoff not dead? It's squeezing the shit out of his head. Regrettably. This specimen's markings do not fit that description in any way. I left out the line because I thought it was just going to be a repeat again. The victim's written observations tell of a speckled band. But I'm sure you could read that. Yes, that which you are trying but failing to conceal can only be the snake-slaved skin. That's quite a, alliteration there for you.
Did you see that? She just took something out of her pocket and hid it behind her back, even though that doesn't make any sense because it was already hidden in her pocket. And it wasn't like we were about to search her or anything. If she just left it in her pocket, no one would have ever known. That's what I'm saying. Oh, yes, ploys like that are Mr. Sholmes' specialty. He's ever so cleverly forced her to reveal something.
No, I think she's just stupid. Like, I thought deduction was his specialty. Or maybe making me believe that was a ploy too. Yeah.
Anyway, I find it hard to believe that's the skin of a snake. In which case, just what is Miss Pavlova hiding behind her back?
Alright. Her hand!
Has a little stick on it. Well, it is speckled, and it is a band, but what is it? It seems to be soft and fluffy.
He's over there grabbing it. She's frozen in time.
Long piece of cloth of some sort. And that looks like a handle at one end. I think it may be a cat's toy. This sort is common in the West, apparently. How is that a toy for cats? Cats like to chase the band around and paw at it. Kittens in particular love that sort of play. You only need to wave it in front of them and they pounce to catch it.
Aw, that sounds positively adorable. But my best friend is dead, and this is one of the last things he ever saw. So I'm not happy.
Yes!
Yes, the thing you are trying but failing to conceal is, a cat's toy. He didn't sound very confident. Precisely, and the true nature of the now infamous speckled band.
Ah!
And it was this toy that you dangled through the ventilator. You waved it around, I presume. Naturally, the victim could not fail to notice it, unless he was asleep, which would have been likely at 2 a.m., but I guess he wasn't.
But why? For what reason?
My dear boy, there can be only one answer to that. After her feline friend disappeared through the ventilator into the neighboring cabin, Miss Pavlova attempted to use the speckled cat's toy to incite the creature to return.
Ah, there's a good deduction, Sholmes.
In summary, the nature of this friend of Miss Pavlova's, which last night infiltrated the scene of the crime, is a blithesome Russian blue breed of cat by the name of Darka. Yeah. Oh no. A truly troublesome feline young Darka has proven to be. She must be caged once found. Aw, don't be so mean. You will forgive us for borrowing the photograph of your pet, Miss Pavlova. No! She's lost her cat and we took the photo. No, give it back. Let her have it. You have a camera, don't you? Just take a picture of the picture. Gosh.
It was after I gave her food last night. That's when it happened.
Where did the wardrobe go?
She scratched the back of my hand and then ran up the bell cord. Before I could do anything, she had disappeared through the ventilator. Darka, she is so naughty.
Woo! We did it, boys! Oh my god, we still have another topic? Oh yeah! According to the data of which I've been apprised, it would appear there were no visible signs of injury. Even though there were snake bites. Even though we've proven that the snake had nothing to do with this. In fact, the circumstances... Oh, he's still going with venom.
What Mr. Sholmes says is true. There were no signs of a wound anywhere on Cosima Summer's body.
Which proves that it wasn't a snake. That's right, but Mr. Sholmes seems to be unaware of one very important detail. Cosima wasn't poisoned.
Yes, it would seem so.
Really, the fact that there was no wound should do that.
Let's give him the information he's missing now.
Oh. Okay, is that it? Can I review the scene? I can. That's interesting. Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
In fact, the circumstances of the victim's death can only be explained by this post-mortem report. Ah, yes, I knew it was one or the other. Sholmes. He's so stupid. Oh, bless him.
His neck was...
Indeed, the breaking of the cervical vertebrae is fatal. Only that Goliath would be strong enough to survive that. No, I just think that it would be much harder to break his neck than anyone else's, but I believe that snake could do it. Seaman Stroganoff isn't some immortal freak, you know. Why not? You know what I think he is? I think Seaman Stroganoff is an immortal freak. That snake should have killed him by now. The jury is out. Anyway, we have on good authority that the victim's neck was broken. Now, if we take that as fact, which we should, it's the post-mortem report, we can reasonably imagine that there remains evidence to affirm it at the scene of the crime. Oh, now.
Oh no, could there be?
Yes, an examination of the deceased's body will prove the cause of death conclusively, even though we've already done that. Cosima died because his neck was broken. In other words, he was probably struck by something or someone.
Yes, that's a distinct possibility. As of yet, no weapon has been found, though.
Presumably Darka didn't simply creep up behind Cosima and deal him a fatal blow. You were joking about your best friend's murder. Oh my god, it's evil.
I suppose it's possible that he had a fall and hit the ground awkwardly. It could have been a terrible act of misfortune that broke his neck by complete accident.
Oh, yes, a bad fall could explain it.
It's rather hard to believe of Kazuma-sama, though. He wasn't a clumsy man.
Well, we need to fix this deduction somehow. Is there anything from the scene that could explain what happened? Oh, well, I don't want to joke around on this one just because we're running long. It's been 51 minutes. We're not even close, I don't think. Yeah, it's that.
Yes.
Yes, an examination of the mark on the floor will prove the cause of death conclusively. This This particular mark, so prominently visible next to the victim's body, is a deposit of shoe polish. Shoe polish.
Shoe polish?
Indeed, positively identified by a little analysis device I constructed, which I carry now as a matter of course. He's just so smart. Like, how can he create this stuff and then be so stupid? I swear. Beeswax, tallow, and dye were my results. The undeniable ingredients of shoe polish. Interesting. And the color of the polish is a perfect match to the color of Mr. Sergei's laced leather shoes. Looking at this mark, it's not hard to imagine what happened. For some reason, Mr. Sergei must have caught his foot at that point in the floor and tripped.
Please, no.
And, by a dreadful turn of misfortune, caught his neck against some immovable object as he fell to the floor. Suffering a fatal blow to the spine, the victim's vertebrae shattered, and in that instant, he lost his life. I say with a smile.
No. I don't know anything about this.
Is that really true, Miss Pavlova? Damn. She's a little girl. Like, you have to remember. What about the evidence left at the scene where Mr. Sergei lost his life? So sad he's calling him Mr. Asogi. He's trying his best to distance himself from it, and it's very sad. Yes, the facts are as clear as day to me. Even though they weren't a minute ago. You did all you could to conceal the incriminating evidence. That's right. You hid the evidence that links you to the victim's death in that traveling case.
I don't believe it. Kazuma-sama merely tripped over and now he's no more? It can't be true. I refuse to accept it.
I know it's hard to believe, but the mark on the floor does seem to suggest that's what happened. But, I mean, if he was hit on the back of the head with something, that could still happen, right? Like, and if this part of Mr. Sholmes' deduction is right, Miss Pavlova is trying to hide some evidence that would prove it. Here in this cabin, somewhere in the direction that she just cast her eyes. Where, I wonder? Let's have a good look around. The answer must be here somewhere. I want to look in the trash can. No reason.
This is a wastepaper basket. Perhaps all the first-class cabins have them except for ours. But Miss Pavlova only started occupying this cabin late last night. Presumably there's not much rubbish in there yet. I've already looked, though.
Huh? When did that get there? We looked in the trash can already. That, when I first played this, that made me mad. We literally already looked in it, and that was not in there.
Oh, what's that? It's a broken piece of glass, isn't it?
Yes, it is. And I feel like I've seen it somewhere before.
If it looks familiar, perhaps it's more than your mind simply playing tricks on you.
You literally have a picture of it. Wait, can I not? Oh. Okay.
Yes.
Yes, because that's where she hid it. Okay. That's right. You hid the evidence that links you to the victim's death in that wastepaper basket. Ah! Here we have a fragment of some intricate glass object, it would seem. One that has a familiar air, in fact. Precisely. We found another piece of broken glass on the floor in Mr. Sergei's cabin. And, as you can see, the two pieces fit together perfectly.
Oh no.
So, Miss Pavlova, shall we consider what this tells us? Why would it be that part of this glass object, which was evidently broken at the scene of the victim's death, should be found in the wastepaper basket in your cabin?
Ah!
You're well acquainted with this glass bell, are you not? I don't know, and that hushed Russian accent of yours won't save you this time, dear girl. Don't know why I brought your accent into this. Why? Because we have conclusive evidence linking you to the bell in question.
What?
Take it away, Mr. Naruto. Yes. The evidence linking Miss Pavlova and the little glass bell, that would be... I mean, I literally pointed it out while we were... while we were talking. While we were looking at it. Okay. If you look at this photograph, If you look at this photograph, you can clearly see, hanging from Darka's collar, very glass bell in question. The truth has caught up with you, Miss Pavlova. The young man who lost his life last night did so after a truly inauspicious fall. And the cause of that fateful stumble? Oh, they're twirling. Your absent feline friend, Darka. The gunshot sound effect.
I couldn't tell anyone. I'm sorry.
Case solved, boys. Oh, it's so sad. Oh, it's so sad. Alright. Deduction complete. Elementary. We have exposed an accidental death accidentally caused by a 15-year-old girl. We are so happy right now. Why don't you tell us now, Miss Pavlova? Tell us exactly what happened last night.
It was a little after 1 in the morning. It was so late, but I hadn't had time to feed Darka, so I gave her some food. And then, all of a sudden, she scratched me and jumped out of my hands.
People do say that cats become very anxious and nervous in new environments.
She was so fast. She disappeared through the ventilator before I could stop her.
And that is how you acquired the rather nasty wound on the back of your hand, I take it?
Yes. And I had read the, rules on the wall. I knew that I was not allowed Darka with me.
Yes, modern science suggests that animals can carry infectious diseases. It's a precaution, really.
So I listened and listened, trying to hear if there is some noise in the next cabin. It was very quiet. I was sure if someone was in there, he must be sleeping.
Nope, he was sitting writing a journal. So at that point, you thought it safe to try to lure the kitten back out again, by dangling the end of the toy through the ventilator and into the adjoining cabin.
Darka always loves this toy, but it didn't work. Nothing worked. I tried using her favorite toy. I tried whistling to her softly, but nothing. She didn't return.
Also, if he was asleep, it would have had to jump on his face to get onto the bell cord. Like, surely it would have woken him up. So the faint whistling sound Cosimo wrote about in his diary was Miss Pavlova trying to retrieve her pet. Cats have a propensity to remain hidden in the shadows when frightened. How do you know that?
Yes, so there was nothing else I could do. I just had to wait until she calmed down. But then... I nearly passed out with shock. I heard her cry out, and then... Oh, it was such a dreadful bang. Then afterwards, nothing. It was totally silent.
Cosimo was...
From the appearance of the brown mark on the floor, it seems likely that what you heard was the victim stepping on the glass bell and tripping up.
Which meant that the bell fell off of the cat?
The Asperger is a large vessel, but even she can pitch and roll violently without warning. It's how boats work. Mr. Sogi was already off balance as a result of the ship lurching when the kitten got under his feet. The combination of unfortunate factors could easily have caused him to fall over. But what became of the kitten afterwards?
In the end, I managed to get her to come back to the ventilator.
Yet Darka is nowhere to be seen.
I must have forgotten to lock my case. And now she's disappeared again.
Gracious, that cat is as insufferably restless as I am. Me too, Sholmes. Well, he knows something about himself at least. Okay, weird.
When I woke this morning, I heard that a young man in the cabin next to mine had died. But I couldn't bring myself to tell anyone what had happened. I was too scared. Scared that they would send me back.
Oh, hold on a minute. What about the snake?
You're right. Where is it?
If the snake isn't your friend, Miss Pavlova, then whose is it, and where did it come from, and where did it go, Cotton Eye Joe? I think the Hosonaga might need a cotton eye. What on earth is such a dangerous creature doing on board this ship? Aww. Oh, I didn't say. Snake is my friend. His name is Piroshko. I love him so much. What?
That snake belongs to you.
He escaped from cage when emergency alarm sounded. I was looking for him. Aww. I did not expect to find him in here. Yes, how did that snake get into this cabin?
But animals are not permitted on board.
Ha! We are at sea for 1 year. You want me to be so long without close friend? Without someone who understands? Aww. Couldn't you find someone a little more human who understands you better? No. Aww. But my dear burly fellow, a gargantuan venomous snake? Surely you can appreciate the danger you're putting everyone in. No venom. Did you not notice? He has no fangs. Brishko does not have venom. He is harmless, very long but very gentle. He is adorable like Granny. Oh, that's awesome. Look at Piroshko. How do you pronounce it? Piroshko. Look at him. He's so cute. It's venomless. I didn't know such a thing existed. How much more useless can he get? I say that, but that might actually be the joke. Yes, now he is hungry, so he's in bad mood. But once I feed him, you will see big smile. And you feed him what? Milk, I suppose? Ha! Like they say the milk chickens? Like they say they milk chickens? Ridiculous. Snakes that drink milk are only in stupid stories. Piroshko eats mouses. Big, fat, round mouses. Ah. Oh, so is that what the mousetrap in the passageway out there is for? Of course. How else can I catch my friend's favorite food? Nothing says top of the food chain like the look in their eyes right now. No, Sholmes, where did your eyes go? It refuses to drink milk, it can't hear a whistle, it can't climb up a bell cord, and it's not even venomous. I was right, that was the joke. How the deuce did something so inept land a starring role? Oh, sorry. It's not my fault, I do not make up stories. My pretty scar has nothing to do with this incident. So that's what happened. That's the truth behind my best friend's tragic death. Ryunosuke, who wrote Wardrobe in Russian? Did you think about that? He's too in shock. I can't blame him, honestly.
Miss Pavlova, I understand the difficult situation you found yourself in, and I do sympathize. But please remember this. A young man lost his life. If you're going to attempt to cover up your guilt with lies, then no matter what the circumstances, I cannot forgive you. But
What are you talking about, Miss Mikatoba?
She caught it.
What lies? Miss Pavlova just confessed everything.
Not quite. She couldn't have. How did the bell get in there? Like, well, no, we know how the bell got in there, but, well, no, how did the bell get in here? How did only half of the bell get back here? That doesn't make sense.
It was just a series of unfortunate events, an accident.
Has Sholmes caught it too, or is he pretending like he caught it? You can't tell with him.
I'm no great detective like Mr. Sholmes. I don't have a gift for knowing the truth.
I don't think he does either.
But even I can see that was not the truth. Don't you agree, Mr. Naruhodo? To be perfectly honest, yes. There's a discrepancy in Miss Pavlova's story, I'm sure of it. I just can't quite put my finger on it.
It's pretty obvious.
I confess, I was intending to let Scotland Yard deal with any outstanding issues on this matter.
Oh.
I am only present here for a very specific reason. The truth is, you, Mr. Naruhodo, are simply a distraction.
Distraction?
I do hope you've not been finding your shackles too uncomfortable.
Oh. Ah, not again. When did he do that?
Especially as they're on your wrist as a result of my intervention. I was rather hoping I could resolve matters before we made our next port call.
You were, Mr. Sholmes?
Yes, but I overlooked one important detail. The deceased young man was a very close companion of yours, was he not?
Yes. Cosmo was my closest friend. I owed him my freedom, even.
Yeah, true. In that case, we must follow this to its conclusion. No further distractions. You must uncover the real truth here, Mr. Naruhodo.
Yes, whatever that may be.
Did Sholmes get a heart? It took him a while to to put that together, to be a great detective. He just gets so caught up in playing detective that he doesn't stop to think that they're real people. That's my thought, at least. And then once he does, he's like, oh, crap. Whoops.
The key to this is the discrepancy in Miss Pavlova's story, I'm sure. If I can chase that down, maybe the truth will become clear.
Oh.
The truth about how you really died. And how that scene in the cabin really came to be. Oh, new music. Alright, I'll see what I can do. Excellent.
Thank you, Mr. Naruhodo.
So then, shall we begin? Hold on, I just put these handcuffs back on you, but we're taking them off again.
Yes.
What we should ponder first is the victim who lost his life in a cabin that was bolted shut from the inside. Was this truly an unfortunate accident? They're literally showing us the fact that it was set up. Or was it in fact no accident at all? That is what we must establish in the first instance. But we've already established it, haven't we?
You're stupid.
The man tripped over the kitten that had climbed into the cabin via the ventilator. Tragic, yes, but still an accident.
You were there to protect him from assassination. How likely is it that you're gonna die of an accident while you are apparently a target for an assassination? Like, just saying.
Wait, let's just take a step back. It doesn't make sense if that's really what happened, does it? I'm going to have to ask you to spell it out for me, I'm afraid. You know, I've got this concussion isn't really doing me any favors. Yes, it's starting to take shape now. There's a clear contradiction between the facts and Miss Pavlova's story here. The evidence is right there in Cosmo's cabin, it's undeniable. His death couldn't possibly have been a mere accident. Really? Let us show our hand, Mr. Naruhodo. Time to present the evidence.
The evidence that proves unequivocally that the victim's death was no mere accident. This, right? Yeah, it would appear to have been written. Yeah.
Yes.
The truth is clearly recorded in this photographic print. I don't want to look at him like that. There's no way that Mr. Asogi could have left this message on the floor. That script, it's Russian, isn't it? Indeed it is. The word written means wardrobe. I see what you mean. Most people would leave a dying message in their native language, Japanese in this case. Well, unless you're in a place where you know that that isn't the language that's spoken and it's not going to do you any favors. But, Kazuma didn't know Russian is the problem.
But maybe he was studying Russian.
That doesn't mean that it's his mother tongue now. Like,
It is a simple language. He could have picked it up very fast.
that doesn't seem likely. That's actually not the point. It makes no difference whether he knew Russian or not. Yeah.
Sorry, what do you mean?
Did you forget? Exactly what I said before. There is no way that Mr. Sogi could have left this message on the floor. And the reason why is clearly explained in here. Damage to the cervical vertebrae resulting in instant death. Instant death. Which means, after the victim fell to the floor, he couldn't possibly have written anything. Because he was already dead.
That's not the only reason either. There's something else we found in Mr. Asogi's cabin. A remnant of something that couldn't possibly have been there if what Miss Pavlova told us was true.
What? So Susato-san has noticed it too, then. It's the bell, right? Putting this message on the floor aside, there's something else that gives the truth away. Another piece of evidence that proves this was no accident. In other words... Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, that's right. This piece of broken glass next to the mark on the floor.
But that's the glass bell the kitten had around its neck. We already know all about that.
And the fact that half of it was found in her wastebasket.
It was broken in half when the victim tripped over the cat and fell. So we already have a satisfactory explanation. Where's the flaw in that logic?
Unfortunately, there's a very big flaw. Fatal flaw. You like my jokes? My best friend is dead.
What?
If that's really what happened, then how did one half of the bell end up back here in this cabin?
Ah!
He's so stupid. I'm sorry. It's the concussion. We're gonna say it's the concussion.
Yes, remember that we found the other half of that glass bell in the wastepaper basket. Would you care to explain that, Miss Pavlova?
Oh no. Both these pieces of evidence clearly point to the same conclusion. If when Mr. Asogi died last night in his cabin, there was someone else in the room. And that same person deliberately arranged the scene to disguise the truth in order to cover up his or her own guilt.
Yes, there was someone else present in Mr. Asogi's...
Oh, he gets his own hold it? You are wasting time!
This was there? Yeah, of course, we knew this.
What are you talking about? I can't really hear you through the snake.
Speckled was bolted shut from inside. There was no way in or out.
Yes, but we've already proven why Ryunosuke couldn't have done that, though.
And the only other person in cabin when young student died was you.
Yes, you're right. It's true, I was in the cabin when it happened. You were shut inside the cabin wardrobe, to be precise about the details. But I don't know Russian. There's no way I could have left that message. Not would have. There's no way you could have left that message, to be precise about the details. Would you mind? No. Forgive me, my dear fellow. He's so annoying. As I was saying... The person in question wrote the word wardrobe. The person in question wrote the word wardrobe in Russian on the floor. In an attempt to incriminate me for the crime, even though I had been asleep in there the entire time.
And then the same person picked up the broken glass bell that had fallen to the floor. Don't know why they left half of it, for fear of it becoming evidence that would show how Mr. Sogi really died.
But why wouldn't this person have taken all the pieces of the bell away?
Osanaga, good job.
Leaving half behind was always going to raise questions.
Yes, well, it was past 1 o'clock in the early hours of the morning. The cabin would have been quite dark. Ah. A single small lamp suspended from the ceiling would barely have cast any light on the floor there. How could he see to write? Little wonder, then, that the cop had failed to notice a fragment of the tiny item. Sure.
You all suspect me, don't you?
He is very worked up about this. Oh, where'd the snake go? Seaman Stroganoff. Nina is woman of sea. She is daughter of strong sailor. You? 2 years ago, they noticed her dancing skills and she went away to join ballet company. But before, she was dancer on this ship, a member of ship's band. Ah. You do not accuse ship's angel of being criminal. Ah, so that's it. You say that when young student died, Nina was there in his cabin. There. That sucked. But that is not possible. I give my tooth. Thank you for giving your tooth. Well, this is all most interesting. And why would you give your tooth, pray? How can you be so sure? You are a great detective. You should know. It was bolted. Sure. Look truth in eyes. Cabin bulkhead was bolted shut from inside. Nobody could go into cabin. Not Nina, not anyone. But the fact is, somebody did. Or do you want to tell me that killer can walk through locked doors? Niet, it's impossible. Oh, he's right. But you're stupid.
But wait, I've read about this in detective stories. People often tie thread around door latches so they can open and close them from the outside.
Thread? Are you stupid? These bulkheads are not barn doors. Certainly not. These are watertight doors, as one would expect to find on any modern steamship. Constructed of heavy steel, with not a single gap in sight, no threads or needles or magnets could have been used.
No, of course not. I thought so too. But Mr. Naruhodo suggested it earlier, so...
Sato-san, how could you shift it onto me like that? No fair.
So Seaman Stroganoff has a valid point. The cabin door couldn't have been shut from outside.
Not necessarily. What? I put it to you that I could bolt this cabin door without laying a finger on it. It's true. And in this very cabin, we can see the traces of the method I have in mind having been used before.
I don't believe it.
Well, Mr. Naruhodo, I believe you know what I mean, don't you? Way to shut the bolt of the cabin door from the outside. One way does spring to mind, yes.
Do you really know what Mr. Sholmes means, Mr. Naruhodo?
Yes, and so should you, because we've seen it happen. Indeed we have. So, would you care to do the honors, Mr. Naruhodo? Point out the telling signs, the method that was used to slide the cabin door bolt across from the outside. I guess it would be the bookcase? Wait, nothing's lighting up. Okay. I suppose it's the bookcase because everything's leaning to the left. Look at the bookcase there. See how all the books and things on it have toppled over?
That must have happened when the ship made its emergency stop before.
Yes, that's right. It's a very powerful vessel, after all. When the engines are turned into reverse, a violent jolt goes across the entire ship. Any small objects that aren't fastened down are bound to fall over.
I believe, yes, it's what's known as the force of inertia acting on the objects.
Is there nothing Susato-san doesn't have in that book? Yeah, doesn't know, or that isn't in her book at least? Well, whatever it's called, the same force that pushed over those books on the bookcase also made something else in this cabin move. The bolt on the cabin door. Ah! It was very obvious just after the emergency stop that the ship made earlier. We had come into this cabin not long before, and we hadn't bolted the door. But then... we remember it was bolted. Yeah, shout if you need assistance. Tosanaga. Unbolt the door.
Oh, yes. That's it. When the ship stopped suddenly, the boat flew across and locked the door.
Yes, it's made of metal, but it's small and light enough to be moved by the ship's sudden change of speed. Or the force of inertia, if you want to call it that.
Are you trying to say that last night, after Mr. Sogi was killed?
Yep, they made a locked room mystery. Yep, there it goes. Yep.
The SS Burya made another emergency stop?
When I woke up this morning and looked around the cabin, I thought it looked a little odd. All the books on the shelves had toppled over, and all the ornaments. It was almost as if someone had run their hand across the shelves and deliberately knocked everything over.
Oh, yes, I remember that. I tampered with the evidence, and I stood them all up again, didn't I?
You tampered. Then when we came into this cabin, we were surprised to see the same thing in here. All the books and everything had toppled over, just like in Mr. Asogi's cabin.
Oh my!
Do you have anything to say about this, Miss Pavlova? Are you out of your mind? You say Burya made emergency stop.
It does seem a little far-fetched. How could that possibly have happened? Unless you're saying that the culprit is actually someone from the engine room.
Oh, it is simple enough. Are you forgetting the button in the passageway outside? Used to trigger the emergency alarm?
Oh, yes, of course. There was a notice, wasn't there, telling you only to press the button in times of emergency.
On dark nights, when the fog is dense, the captain cannot afford to rely on the eyes of his lookout alone. Hence the placement of a number of buttons around the vessel to allow any crewman to raise the alarm, or person. The sort of button one is almost compelled to press to satisfy one's curiosity. Oh. Wait, it was you? When the button is pressed, two things happen in the interests of safety. The emergency alarm bell rings, and the vessel comes to a complete stop. As indeed it did a little earlier today. He pushed the button. Oh my god.
Mr. Sholmes, surely it wasn't you who...
As I always say, your button has but one purpose in life. To be pressed, whatever the occasion. He sounds almost proud of himself. How dare you mess with ship! I report you to Captain. You are in much trouble now. Now, I'm sure all that can wait until later. Let us not overlook the fact that we have now learnt a valuable lesson. When the vessel makes an emergency stop, the bolts on the cabin doors slide closed. So, what we must now consider...
Yes, it all comes down to one thing now. Last night, after what happened to Mr. Sogi, did this ship make an emergency stop, or did it not?
You are idiots! Burya is huge ship with many passengers. If we make emergency stop even in middle of night, there would be chaos everywhere. Oh, whoops. What are your thoughts, Mr. Naruhodo? Well, it's certainly possible that some kind of emergency happened last night. We have evidence to support that idea.
Really? What evidence, Mr. Naruhodo?
Were you not listening? Fascinating! Do show us, my good man. What evidence promotes the theory that some emergency gripped this vessel last night? The log. Where's the log? Yeah, the ship's log.
Yes!
Seaman Stroganoff, it's your duty to patrol the first-class area of the ship, isn't that right? That is correct. Why? And the ship's log here, this would be where you record the details of your duties? What are you doing with that? That is mine! Ah, you rather carelessly left it open atop the little makeshift bureau in the passageway out there. But as responsible passengers, we took it into our care with the mind to return it to you later. Oh, it's so good. I left it there on purpose. That is where I put it always.
The point is, looking at what you usually record, it's clear that under normal circumstances you write the phrase "nothing to report" every 30 minutes. But from 2 o'clock last night until first light this morning, nothing was recorded at all. Nothing recorded in the log.
That is... because nothing happened.
But if nothing happened, you would normally write "nothing to report," wouldn't you?
He fell asleep. Like, I mean, that could easily be explained.
Indeed so.
Which tells us that shortly after 2 a.m., something happened here aboard the SS Burya. Something sufficiently significant to make you forget to fill in the ship's log, in fact.
Are you suggesting the ship really did make an emergency stop in the middle of the night?
Stop talking rubbish!
If I'm perfectly honest, I find that a little hard to believe myself.
Oh, why?
Well, because if something as major as an emergency stop really had happened, surely all of us would have noticed.
That's very true. Thanks to the emergency stop we experienced earlier, we all know what it feels like now. The ship lurched so violently and the alarm bell was so loud. I can't imagine that anybody would sleep through that, even if it happened in the dead of night.
Well, no, that's a good point. What of the throbbing? Don't say it like that, Sholmes.
Sorry, what do you mean?
Your head, man. The throbbing of your head since this morning. We have all suffered with it.
Ah!
Oh, yes, I have had a headache, you're right.
But that's probably because I got pummeled by the captain.
In fact, I haven't been feeling myself since I woke up today.
Nor have I. My head has been feeling heavy ever since dawn.
Yes, you've all been afflicted, haven't you? Just as I suspected.
He's right. My head's been throbbing today too.
And since eating dinner yesterday evening, everything has felt sort of hazy. Peculiar. I can't really remember anything that happened after I climbed back inside that wardrobe. Well, yeah, you went to bed. Like, and the first thing I noticed this morning was the throbbing pain in my head. True. I had already been dragged out of the wardrobe. And had those handcuffs put on me by that point. Why didn't I wake up when all that was happening to me? Tell me, Mr. Naruto. You boarded this vessel as a stowaway, didn't you? Oh, well, yes. Sorry. Why is he apologizing? The stowaway class of accommodation doesn't usually include meals. What did you survive on? Ah, well, Kazuma looked after me. He was always happy to share his meals. So you enjoyed some of the whole roast chicken dish that was served yesterday evening, I take it? Yes, in fact, I had all of that. Kazuma wasn't fond of chicken. Oh, really? So the victim didn't eat any of the chicken at all, and he was awake. That's right, he didn't touch it. Is that relevant? You idiot. My dear fellow. Does that not strike you?
Oh! Mr. Sholmes, do you mean to say that there was something wrong with the chicken?
Not something wrong, it was drugged. I do.
No! Really? Is that really true?
The meal prepared for the passengers last night had been tampered with. Tampered with by the addition of a soporific designed to induce a very deep slumber in those who consumed it.
A sleeping drug.
Do you mean whoever did this laced every single meal with a sleeping drug so no one would notice the ship's emergency stop?
Mr. Naruhodo, of course that's not what Mr. Sholmes means. What a far-fetched idea.
Precisely. Lacing every meal of every passenger on board with a soporific, I struggle over that word every time, the soporific drug would suddenly be impossible. Unless, that is, every single member of the crew was a conspirator.
What? Mr. Sholmes!
Well, Seaman? See, this is where Sholmes shined in this one. Because they would have never figured it out, but he pointed it out. He's very good in that scenario. I'm sorry to say that any more deception in this matter will get you nowhere. Also, I haven't pointed this out yet, but I like that the marks around him are tan marks from where the snake covers his face. It's really good. And it's subtle. You don't notice it until afterwards, but it's really good. They do such a good job with details. If you refuse to talk, there would have to be an inquiry made through the shipping company, of course. And were that to happen, every member of the crew, and the captain himself, would be hauled over the coals, which is deserved. If somebody was allergic to that, they could have just died. Also, somebody did die. He didn't eat the chicken, but still. For aiding and abetting a renegade.
Please, no more. I will tell everything.
Ah,
I cannot make problems like this for everyone anymore.
these crewmen are your former comrades, I believe.
Yes. So when I decided to run away, I asked them to help me.
We all agreed to help, everyone together. She threw away everything, our fame in the ballet, Mother Russia. We wanted to help our angel. Aw, it's so sad. I don't believe it. It's pretty crazy. You are right. We put sleeping drug in chicken last night. That's so ridiculous. Yes, I remember now. I did notice chewing on a lump of something strange and bitter at one. And nobody else thought that was suspicious. Bah, we could not make all drug, how do you say, dissolve? Talk about heavy seasoning. What? At midnight, in waters near Shanghai, we brought our angel on board. She was helped by comrade on shore with small fishing boat. While all the passengers of the SS Boreas slept soundly. Thanks to the almost magical effects of the slumber-inducing potion their evening meals had contained. Tell me, dear fellow, where did you get that? I really need some. I have horrible insomnia. So, if that's what happened, the only people awake on the ship last night were the crew, people who disliked chicken, and the newly boarded passenger, Miss Pavlova. And that means it would have been possible for you. You could have used the emergency stop trick to lock Cozima's cabin door. But how does that make sense? Surely every cabin door would have ended up locked in that case, and there would have been complete chaos. Oh, I wouldn't say so. What? Ah, of course. Just like us, all the other passengers would have eaten their evening meal of chicken in their cabins, after which they would have been overwhelmed by tiredness because of the sleeping drug. Quite. And accordingly, all passengers were already in their cabins for the night.
Yes.
The overwhelming majority of passengers would habitually sleep with their cabin doors bolted anyway, and so not one of them would have found it remarkable to find the door locked in the morning. In summary, in order to fasten the bolt of a single cabin door on the ship, the culprit brought the entire vessel to an emergency stop in the early hours of the morning. So there were 2 emergency stops last night. You have talked long time and said many things. What is point? I agree. Can we, speed this up? The point is what I said earlier. There was somebody else present at the scene when the victim lost his life last night. Someone who left a message in Russian on the floor in an attempt to incriminate another. Someone who tried desperately to hide the broken fragments of glass that would reveal the culprit's identity. and someone who abused the ship's emergency stop procedure in order to lock a door. All told, a busy night.
But... I don't know about any of this. I am just a little girl.
Oh, now you are. You like to speak with your long English words and explain your clever ideas. But I am sailor, and sailors don't listen to long, boring stories. We don't believe. Sailors like me, we trust only what we see with our eyes. Okay. A laudable trait. What? I am quite of the same disposition, my good man. Observation to me is everything. Mr. Narhodo? Oh, yes? Do you hear it? That accusatory cry of guilt on the wind?
What's the accusatory cry of guilt?
I wasn't talking to you. Sorry, you've lost me. Proof of involvement, man, but you can't hear such a call with your ears. No. You must hear it with your eyes. In other words, you must see it. For observation is the basis of all deduction. What are you talking about? I believe the time has come. For one final logic and reasoning spectacular to expose the truth. I really don't want to. Like, come on. I've been going for an hour and 50. I really don't want to. So, Mr. Narhodo, your assistance, if you please. I don't know why I felt like a clap was good there, but it feels correct. With what exactly, Mr. Sholmes? With observation, my dear fellow, just as I said, of these two prevaricators. Goodness.
Observation? What's that? If you remember, Mr. Narhodo, we know that somebody tried to fabricate evidence, don't we? By tampering with the scene of Mr. Sogi's death. What we're looking for is some trace of evidence that one of these two was there when it happened.
Precisely! You are delightfully quick to grasp my meaning. Alright, I'll see what I can see. So we're looking for a trace of evidence that shows someone else was there last night when Cosima died. Oh my god, we have so long.
Yes.
Alright, there's the ink stain. Seaman Stroganov. You seem to have quite a large purple stain on the back of your white uniform there. Yes, I don't know where the dirt comes from. The purple dirt. So nothing in particular comes to mind about the stain. What are you trying to say? It would appear the significance of this stain has escaped your attention, Seaman. Allow us to make it plain. It's a very large purple stain on the back of Seaman Stroganov's uniform.
And I think what made it is clear.
Indeed it is. So, Mr. Narhodo, present the evidence that proves it. My pleasure. Alright then, the evidence that proves what that stain on the back of Seaman Stroganov's uniform really is. I mean, is it this? Yeah, in purple ink.
Yes.
Yes, it's this photograph and the ink it shows. That's what caused the stain on your uniform. Ink. A rather unusual color of ink, purple. Ah! Ah, the penny drops, at last. Now you see the significance. The Russian word on the floor next to the victim's body was written in purple ink. And the stain on the back of your uniform is ink of the exact same color. If the ink had been dry, it couldn't possibly have stained your uniform in that way. Which means you must have been present in the cabin in the moments immediately after the ink was spilled. All right. Yes. It was me. I did it. Everything. I arranged everything in dead student's cabin to make it look like Wardrobe Man did it. What a terrible superhero. Then I pressed button to make Borea do emergency stop and bolt cabin door shut. I did everything so no one would suspect our angel. Don't worry, Angel. No, that's me. I need to stop that joke. Let me do talking. It was after 1 in the morning. I was on duty patrolling passageway. Then our angel came to me. She was white like sheet.
Biff, please, you must help me. I've forgotten my voice. Biff, please, you must help me.
I went with her. The door to cabin number 1 was open. When I looked inside, I saw student boy on floor. What's happened here?
Please, don't tell anyone. My little one, my little furry friend.
Everything that happened in cabin is like Angel told you. That's why I'm looking away from you like this. The kitten escaped through the ventilator into Mr. Sergey's cabin. Then he tripped over it and broke his neck when he fell to the floor. Yes, that is right.
So after the incident, when the cat ran away, Miss Pavlova then visited the cabin next to hers.
Only to find its occupant lying lifeless on the floor. Which doesn't make sense because he just said that people were in a habit of sleeping with their doors bolted. But I guess he wasn't sleeping. Still, if he's worried about being assassinated, you'd think he would keep his cabin door locked. She said, unless he wasn't told. He might not have been told. That would be interesting. Okay. She said she was worried when she heard sound of something falling to floor. That's when she went to look. Wouldn't you get him to come with you? Okay. No, Angel. Oh. The door was not locked. So she opened it to look, and you already know what happened after.
There's just one thing, if you wouldn't mind.
What?
When you went to Mr. Sergey's cabin, Miss Pavlova, was he already dead? Why?
I already told you. When Nina opened door of student's cabin and looked inside,
I was asking Miss Pavlova.
Get him. Well, Miss Pavlova? I think it's, yeah.
Oh. Yes, that is right.
Okay.
I saw him. It was dark and he was wearing black, but he was on the floor, not moving. I was scared. I understand, and I believe you. So, is that finally it now? Have we discovered the real truth about Cosmo's death at last?
Ah, something very nearly slipped my mind.
Oh, Mr. Sholmes?
This photograph? Yes, I took this myself, you know. Do you like it? I got a good angle, didn't I? The cause of death was broken neck, therefore the victim died instantly. And the unfortunate incident that precipitated these events, a kitten on which the victim stumbled. However, those are the facts. There is one particular area in this photograph that seems to me somewhat unnatural. What do you mean, unnatural? What are your thoughts on the matter, Mr. Naruhodo?
Oh, well... If Cosmo tripped and fell and by some terrible stroke of bad luck broke his neck, which part of this photographic print seems unnatural?
Okay, this is bullshit. It's the closed fist. That seems ridiculous, right? This is clearly unnatural. Like, but we know that that was done. That was tampered with. But if that was, anything else could have been too. But it's the closed fist.
Alright, if he really fell due to an unfortunate accident, then this fist just doesn't seem quite right.
The exact same thought occurred to me. In a fall, one's instinct is to open the palms flat. Yet here we see the victim with his left hand tightly balled into a fist. Almost, you might say. As though he were gripping something. What do you mean? Simply that I took the liberty of investigating the victim's fist a short while ago. What? It was still closed? When you took him out of the room, it was still closed? How? It's limp, unless he's already decaying. You did? And what, pray, do you imagine I found there, my dear fellow?
Mr. Sholmes, show us, please.
Why, of course, my dear madam. Would I keep you in suspense? I'll keep Mr. Naruhodo in suspense, though. Look away. This is what I found.
Oh, a crescent moon with a little gemstone in the middle.
Yes, you're right. A crescent moon. It's very pretty, but what does it tell us? Tells us nothing. I'm not so sure. That crescent moon looks... It looks familiar somehow. I'm sure I've seen it somewhere before. Observation, Mr. Naruhodo. That is the key. What? The truth is now tantalizingly close. How did that crescent moon come to be in Cosmo's clenched fist? This is the final clue. The last piece of the puzzle. Thank God. Ask yourself, what does this little crescent moon mean? What significance has it? And observe. Find the answer with your own eyes. Okay, I've got it. I wonder what that is.
She has such petite ears among that beautiful hair, like little pink shells.
Weird. Oh, what's that? There's something dangling down from her ear.
Yes, that's an earring. Wait, look! It's a crescent moon!
Ah! There can be no doubt now, surely. Okay, so... Do I have to look at this? Yeah, I have to look at this. Yeah, it's that ear. Miss Pavlova, I noticed it on your ear. Even though you have a metal earring, the decorative part of it seems to be missing. The little link holding it must have broken, I suppose. What? But looking at your other ear, I noticed a crescent moon. Oh, I don't believe it. Wait, did he not know? Oh my gosh. Now, the crescent moon was found in the victim's clenched fist. Clearly, there is only one logical conclusion. Wouldn't you agree, Mr. Naruhodo? Yes. Miss Pavlova, Mr. Sergei must have grasped that crescent moon and pulled it from your ear. Perhaps just moments before he fell to the floor. In other words, last night, in Mr. Sergei's cabin, you witnessed the moment when the victim fell with your own eyes. In fact, you were quite literally at arm's length from him. But then the question is, why did Mr. Sergei do that? Why did he pull your earring from your ear and hold it in his clenched fist during his final moments?
Oh no.
Angel? No one can protect you now. Please, Miss Pavlova, tell us the truth. Last night, what did you do to Cosima?
When I think about everything that happened yesterday, it was too much. Running away, the fishing boat in the middle of the night, trying to climb onto this huge ship. And then, when I was at last in this cabin and I could relax after this horrible long day. Darka, wait! I couldn't believe it when she disappeared through the ventilator. I tried to call her with a little whistle. I tried waving her favorite toy, but nothing worked. Darka would not come back.
What are you doing here at this time of night, Inspector? I forget his voice, it's been so long. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought it was a friend of mine. So he did know about Hosonaga.
The young man from your country. He was very polite and kind. He helped me to find Darka, and he promised not to tell anyone. But then, when I had my friend in my arms again, and I was going to leave the man's cabin.
Just a moment. Sorry, but...
Oh, yes?
I'm sure I know your face. I've seen you somewhere before. Ah, of course. You're Nikolina Pavlova, aren't you? The Russian ballerina.
Huh? No, I don't know that name. My heart nearly stopped when he said that. He knew who I was. How could this man from a land in the faraway east know a Russian ballerina?
Yes, I saw your performance in Japan. The beauty of the ballet made a deep impression on me. But what are you doing on this ship? I'm sure I read that your ballet company was performing in Shanghai at the moment.
I can't fool him. I have to tell him the truth and hope he doesn't tell anyone. I have no other choice.
I see. So you've run away.
Please, please keep my secret. Don't tell anyone.
Give me a moment. I could use another opinion here.
He's going to pull that cord. He's going to tell the captain. Why did I think I could trust him? Then it happened. Everything at once. It was only a second, but it felt like forever. Wait! I shouted, and then... Darka jumped out of my arms and down to the young man's feet. And... as he turned around to look at me...
Oh, the sound effect.
I pushed him. I don't even know why. I don't know why I did it. I was just so scared. And I had to stop him from telling anyone about me.
And that's when you went to fetch help. From Seaman Stroganoff, who was on duty out in the passageway. I heard Nina cry out and thud on the floor, so I ran to her. She was standing at cabin door shaking like leaf. She looked up at me and said,
Help me, Biff. If they find out, I will be... Please, I have nowhere to go.
So you decided to help. And that's when you arranged things in Cosmo's cabin to make it look like I did it. So that no one would suspect the passenger in the cabin next door? Yes. I went into cabin and looked around to make sure there was nothing to show Nina was there. And I found Stowaway. In wardrobe. Still sleeping. Right. That's when he found me.
So you worked out a plan to lay the blame on the stowaway.
I closed wardrobe doors and put back strange paper sign. Luckily for me, it's the only reason Soto-san started to believe me when I said I was innocent. I dragged the young man's body to good place and used ink that was spilling to write on floor. I wrote wardrobe so that the person who found him would look inside wardrobe and find stowaway. And tell me, what of the glass bell?
It was by my feet, so I picked it up.
I see.
But it was dark in the cabin. I didn't notice the other half.
Then Angel went back to her cabin and I finished job. By pressing the emergency alarm button in the passageway? Yes. Accordingly, the SS Barrier did indeed come to an emergency halt at a little after 2 a.m., thus enticing the bolt on the cabin door to slide shut, creating the locked room mystery. There's still one thing I don't understand, Miss Pavlova.
What?
Well,
you said that you told Cosima about the fact that you'd run away from your homeland. And it's because you were worried he was going to tell the captain that you pushed him. Isn't that right? Yes. But even if he had pulled the bell cord and called for the captain of the ship, aren't you friends with every member of the crew? Why would that have been a problem? It was what he said first that made me scared. What he said first?
What are you doing here at this time of night, Inspector? Oh. I'm sorry. I thought it was a friend of mine.
He said an inspector was his friend.
Ah, yes, meaning me. So I'm the reason that Cosima died. That slip of the words was what killed him. That's so sad. He was supposed to be acting as his bodyguard.
I thought that if police knew about me, they would arrest me. So before he could put the bell cord, I... May I stop you a moment, please, Miss Pavlova? It just doesn't seem to make sense. I mean, was Mr. Sergey really going to pull the bell cord? I don't know. What? What do you think, Mr. Naruhodo?
Well, I'm not Cosima, so I can't know for certain, but he was a man of his word. If he told you he wouldn't give your secret away, then he wouldn't have done.
No, he was walking over to it. He was going to pull the cord. He was going to make them send me back.
Well, Mr. Naruhodo, the day's work is not yet done, it seems. There's one more deduction to make. What? Another deduction? Yes. What action was the victim really about to take at that moment? Oh, and the music. Can we determine whether the young man's gaze was directed? First, consider the victim's location within his cabin. That's easy, I remember every detail of that room. I mean, yes, I'd spent quite a lot of time at the wardrobe, but still. That cabin has been my home for its entire voyage, yeah.
So this is how the cabin looked last night, when Miss Pavlova visited Kazuma-sama?
Yes, I'm projecting the image. It's exactly how it was. Are you ready then, Mr. Naruhodo? Yes. If there's one thing I've learnt today, it's that a simple gaze can reveal all manners of truth. And not only that, in order to draw the right conclusion, you can't afford to be out by even a little when you're following the gaze to where it lands. So, when he turned away from Miss Pavlova, what exactly was Cosima looking at? Now, it's not the bed, but there's something interesting here when you click it. His bed. I remember him being annoyed about the pillow. Said it was too thin. Didn't he put that big, thick book of Japanese law underneath it, in fact? Perhaps he was thinking of looking something up. Either that, or talking to Miss Pavlova made him acutely tired. Huh? I don't know if I am following him there. Okay, well, it's clear where he was looking.
Take that!
Considering everything that had happened last night, certainly it may have looked as though Cosima was going to ring the bell cord. Yes, however, let me do the talking, Sholmes. Nope. What is directly beside the bell cord? The wardrobe.
The wardrobe?
And more importantly, what was inside the wardrobe? The man's great friend, sleeping soundly.
Ah! Miss Pavlova, please, think back very carefully. What were Mr. Sergey's exact words last night?
Give me a moment. I could use another opinion here.
Another opinion?
Yes, but not from a member of the crew. No, Mr. Sergey intended to consult his close friend on the matter. See if, between them, they might be able to help in some way, no doubt.
Oh no. Sadly, we can't know the truth for certain now. It's too late for that. But I wish you had made sure of what Mr. Sogi was looking at. Things may have ended very differently if you had.
Miss Pavlova, I want to thank you for finally admitting the truth. But unfortunately, the truth is, a man lost his life because of what you did, and that will never change. I hope you'll never forget that. 15-year-old kid.
I'm sorry. Really, I'm so sorry.
Aww.
What have I done?
And so, at long last, the mystery surrounding the tragic accident on the SS Burya was finally laid to rest. Oh, God. Oh, we're not even done. Oh my God. What will happen to Miss Pavlova now, then?
Once we reach Great Britain, she'll be handed over to the British police at Scotland Yard.
What about the fact that she ran away from Russia? Won't the Russians try to repatriate her?
Apparently the English detective can speak to the immigration office and sort all that out.
Mr. Sholmes can do that? I know, right? So she won't be going back to Russia, then?
No, I don't think so. Even if she wanted to return in the future, I doubt she would be able to. She ran away, so now she's in exile for life.
Dang. I see. I'm sorry. Seaman Stroganov? I wanted to help our angel, no matter what. But I didn't think about you, and about how you lost a good friend. I will go with Nina. I will give myself to British police. That's kind of you. In the meantime, thank you for letting me go free again. Cosima's death feels like such a waste, but... Well, do what you can for Miss Pavlova, won't you? Da. Aww. Still so sad.
Well, I'm afraid you need to pack now. We're due to arrive in Hong Kong tomorrow. As much as it pains me, I'm going to have to hand you over to the consul to arrange your passage back to Japan.
Yes, I did stow away after all. Couldn't really expect any different.
So, you should get back to your cabin now.
Oh well, Mr. Asogi's cabin. Poor Cosima! Poor Cosima. Looks like my study tour to Great Britain is over before it's even begun then. To think that only days ago, Cosima and I were laughing together about how we'd tear up the streets of London. Seems like a distant memory now. Oh, what's that? Is it someone weeping? Oh. Sato-san?
Narada-san, I didn't know you had returned.
Oh, well, I haven't been back long. Inspector Sonaga just told me I should pack, you know, ready to leave the ship tomorrow and all that. Aww.
I still can't believe this has happened. I can't believe someone's life can be over just like that.
Sato-san.
He had such grand ideas for this visit to Great Britain, so many dreams, and now they've been cruelly taken away, just as he has. I thought I could never forgive the person responsible, but now we know the truth, that it was just an accident, just a silly series of mishaps. It's too much, Naruto-san. It's just too much.
Yes, I know. I think this is...
I wish there was something I could say.
Yeah.
Inspector.
My duty was to see Asogi-san safely to Great Britain, but I failed, and caused his two closest friends great pain and suffering as a result. I've let everyone down. And I will do anything to make up for my terrible blunder.
Nobody blames you, Inspector. Actually, I do. Just a little. And I'm free again now, at least. Huh? You are evil! Surprised, Mr. Naruhodo? What is the meaning of this? Oh, a trifling matter. Simply that in my head, I think I shall always picture you wearing those shackles. Without them, the balance seems all wrong. It's distracting. Sorry? So I decided to restore them, for old time's sake, shall we say. You are a stowaway, after all. He thinks this is funny? Why, I oughta... Gosh.
Mr. Sholmes. We do appreciate all your assistance. I'd like to thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Not at all, not at all. And though it's a little late, may I offer my sincerest condolences? The loss of your companion is truly heartrending. I hope that you will be able to fulfill some of his aspirations in his honor.
I'm afraid that won't be possible. We shall be disembarking at the next port, in Hong Kong. We have to return to Japan and make a full report about everything that's happened.
What? Wait a minute. It's just me that has to go back, isn't it? I mean, I was the stowaway.
The terms of this study tour were negotiated by the Department of Justice in both Great Britain and Japan. It was to be one lawyer and one assistant.
Was to be?
In light of Mr. Asogi's unfortunate death, I'm afraid the study tour can no longer go ahead.
Oh no. I don't care for me, but... Poor Susato-san. I doubt she'd want to go anyway at this point. My dear fellows, the majority of problems have an extremely simple solution, you know. All you require is one lawyer, and the study tour can continue, surely.
But there's no one else with the necessary qualifications, Mr. Sholmes. We know of no other lawyer.
Qualifications, you say? Any qualifications obtained in your own country will be of little value in Great Britain, I'm afraid.
Oh, but
anyway, the voyage to London still promises a good month of time. Ample opportunity, I would say, to find yourselves another suitable lawyer.
yes.
Mrs. Soto?
Yes?
Do you think perhaps I might be able to do it?
Ah!
But you're not a lawyer, Mr. Naruhodo. Oh, unless... are you studying law?
No, I'm not, but...
I'm sorry. In that case, I don't think there's even a chance it could work.
But as I said, there's still more than a month before we reach England's shores. Isn't that right, Mr. Naruhodo? Yes, I have a month in which to study, to learn what I must to become a lawyer in Great Britain.
Mr. Naruhodo.
That's ridiculous. Are you seriously suggesting anybody could learn all of that in just 40 days?
There's only one way to find out. I would work my fingers to the bone, Inspector, every single day. Will you let me try? And if, by the time we reach Great Britain, I haven't learnt enough to be recognised as a lawyer, I'll take whatever punishment is deemed appropriate.
But why put yourself in such a difficult position?
For Cosima. He said there was something he had to do in Great Britain, and that he would sacrifice anything to make it happen. He was passionate about it. I can't let all that passion just come to nothing. And anyway, it's for my own benefit, too. I will become a lawyer. I have to. What do you say, Mr. Sato?
I think it's a wonderful idea.
Thank you. Oh, this is the first time we get her theme song. She has a very pretty theme song. So, what does our bespectacled inspector friend say? Are you serious? One lawyer and one assistant. The numbers are indisputable. No, it's madness. Yet fascinating, wouldn't you agree? Fascinating? Duty and rules, the dull routine of existence that we all abhor, give us interest, give us fascination. Speak for yourself. Besides, qualifications are no measure of a man. What matters is his character. No? Yes, exactly. I don't care if my heart surgeon is qualified, if he's got his heart in it. I didn't even realize that I set myself up for that joke. He said heart, didn't he? No, he didn't. I've been through a whirlwind of emotions. Yeah, but still, what matters is his heart. Because he's a heart surgeon. And you've witnessed ample evidence of this man's exemplary character today with your own eyes. From the early hours of this morning until this very moment now. Despite contending with the passing of his close companion, despite the accusation of guilt, this man has shown resourcefulness, intelligence, and above all, courage. Aw, how sweet.
Very well. I'll think of a clever way to word my report to the Department of Justice.
Inspector!
After all, I did just make a promise, didn't I? I said that I'd do anything at all to make up for my shortcomings here.
Oh, thank you, Inspector.
If you'll excuse me, I must pay a visit to the captain's quarters, I think. I need to discuss what to do next and how best to make my report.
Are you really prepared to attempt this, Mr. Naruhodo?
Yes, I'm going to try. I wonder, would you consider teaching me what I need to know? Everything about being a lawyer?
No, do it yourself. I'd be delighted to help you. I am a judicial assistant, after all.
Thank you.
And, Mr. Naruhodo, I'd like you to take charge of this.
What? Me? Are you sure?
I'm sure it's what Kazuma-sama would have wanted. Its name is Karuma. It's a great sword that's been in the Asogi clan for generations.
Very well, I accept. I'll treasure it always. So then, Mrs. Sato, seems we'll be working together for some time to come yet.
It'll be an honor, Mr. Naruhodo. And for the next 40 days, I shan't grant you a single minute of freedom. We shall fill every spare moment with study.
Yes, it's exactly what I need. A distraction. Oh, it's so sad.
But before we begin, I have an earnest favor to ask of you, too.
Goodness, what is it?
Please throw me to the ground. 3 times.
What?
I should never have doubted you. You were Kazuma-sama's closest friend. Of course you would never have done anything to hurt him. That should have been obvious to me from the start. But I allowed suspicion to get the better of me. And no matter how upset I was feeling, it was completely unforgivable behavior.
No, I think it was pretty rational. No, you were in shock.
You just found out about me stowing away, and the cabin door was locked from the inside. No, I won't let you make excuses for me. Whatever the circumstances, I should never have thrown you, and not just once, but 5 times.
Ah, that number keeps creeping up, doesn't it?
Please, you must. Just take hold of me and throw me. Do it. Don't even think about it.
No, I don't even know how. I've never thrown anyone in my life. Very wise, Mr. Narhodo. It isn't a skill one acquires without considerable training.
Oh, Mr. Sholmes.
I observed your throwing technique several times with great interest. I confess I was most impressed. When did he see that? He was in the room. I presume that would be a form of Japanese wrestling.
Oh, well, in a way, it's not wrestling, but my own interpretation of an ancient jiu-jitsu technique.
Apparently it's called the Susato Takedown. Leaves your head swimming, believe me. How beguiling. I'm a practitioner of the combative arts myself. I am a somewhat accomplished boxer. There he goes, dancing around again. I wonder if you'd be so kind as to instruct me on the technique of your wresting throw. Aww.
Yes, I'd be honored.
Then let us not dally. Demonstrate, my dear madam.
Oh, of course. Are you ready, Mr. Naruhodo?
Sorry?
Hiya!
Good stuff.
As you can see, you throw from the abdomen.
Oh yes, arresting indeed. And that is what you term the Susato Takedown, is it?
Actually, no. That was a Susato squash.
Ah, bless her. In my groggy state of consciousness, oh my gosh, she knocked him out. A scene from an evening recently spent with Cosmo flickered into my mind. Karma? That's right. It's a prized sword that's been passed down through generations of the Asogi clan. I can't believe you managed to get permission to bring it with you. I mean, taking a katana on a study tour is more than a little irregular, surely. A Japanese man's sword is his soul, Ryunosuke. I can't be parted from my katana. Karma guides me. I truly believe that. So its name compels its wielder to slice evil in two? Not that you would need much compelling. On that subject, there's something very important that I have to do in Great Britain. And I'll sacrifice anything to make it happen. I'd appreciate you seeing it through with me. Of course I will. Whatever it is, I'll see it through to the end with you. I knew you wouldn't let me down. That important thing he had to do. I still don't know what that was. But I'm going to see the place for myself and work it out. In Great Britain's capital, London. Whew. Okay. I hope you guys enjoyed that one. I'm pretty tired after that, I'm not gonna lie. If you liked it, you know, be excited for the next one, even though there is an escapade episode that I'm gonna play before we get into the adventure of the runaway room. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.